Welcome and hello everyone. Today we are here once again with you in another important session of Nitesh Mehra and Associates in the YouTube channel. The topic today on which we are going to speak is with regard to peaceful assembly and peaceful protests. So these are very important as both the rights have been enshrined in the Article 19 of the Constitution of India. These rights have been given to every and any citizen of India subject to certain restrictions. So let us, by way of the PPT made by us, understand what is peaceful protest and peaceful assembly. So from the first slide, you can see that the people are sitting in a protest. It's a peaceful protest, and some of them are shouting slogans. So the special reference in this session has been given to the farmers protest which is being going on, and keeping in view and understanding article 19 and the peaceful assembly, the same has been explained in the video. So let us understand that what is a protest. A protest is a manner of expressing disapproval or opposition to any government or organization's action, remark, or policy that seeks to accuse a group of peaceful persons themselves. Most protests are about political problems, and protesters gather together to make their ideas and demands heard by the government, as well as to influence other individuals to join them. The goal of holding a protest is to publicly question the government about a certain action or a policy and make them respond in a consistent manner. The protest also aids the government in identifying the flaws in their actions, allowing them to improve their work. In a democratic society, in such peaceful protest is one of the main characteristics that may be criticized by the population by allowing people to raise their voices and express their opinion on any social or national issue. Protests may be traced all way back to the pre-independence period. India has a long and checkered, glorious history of protests. Until 1972, India was a British colony controlled by Britishers' protest, and one must adhere to their duties and responsibilities in a democratic country. In the post-independence era, its people became free citizens because of a long series of protests done by our freedom fighters. Mahatma Gandhi, one of the prominent leaders of India, who is also known as the father of Indian nation, taught the Indian citizens the power of peaceful protest. So the Swadeshi movement of 1905 or the Satyagraha of 1930, these movements impacted the nation's history as peaceful protests against the colonial rule. Indians fought hard every battle to publicly express their views on colonial policies and to show dissent towards British colonization and to speak against the government. While exercise or enjoying the right to peaceful protest, one must adhere to their duties or responsibilities in a democratic country. So Supreme Court in the case of Menka Gandhi versus Union of India held that every person must have a right to engage in the democratic process, which includes exercising one's right to vote as well as free and open debate on important public issues. From a legal perspective, India's constitution provides the rightful peaceful protest, which is highly protected under Article 19, despite the fact that the term protest is not specifically mentioned in that article. So Article 19(1)(a) says freedom of speech and expression. Article 19(1)(b) says right to protest peacefully without arms. The Article 19(1)(c) says right to form associations and unions. So these are the limbs of Article 19(1)(a), which has to understood that what and in what manner we have to and we have been given the right to protest. However, these provisions extend to peaceful protests only, and any violence in the name of such protest is held to be unconstitutional. So the going to the checkered way back history in a Ramlila Maidan incident versus Home Secretary versus Union of India, what was happened that this constitutionality with regard to the protest was challenged by the incident, the people who have suffered there. In 2012, when it's a Congress-led government which is leading in the center, the Supreme Court held that citizens have a fundamental right to assembly and peaceful protests that cannot be removed from arbitrary executive or legislative action. At that time, it was stated that there was an administrative action because of which they have been removed from the peaceful protests. Uh, and thereafter, today, what we are been witnessing, the most important protest which has been going on, has been almost long for 6 months by now. The 20 20 and 21, Indian farmers' protest is an ongoing protest against farm acts and bills which were passed by the parliament in the India in September 2020. Farmer unions and their representatives have demanded that the laws be repealed and have stated that they will not accept or compromise on this, and therefore the present protests on the roads are being going on. On 3rd February, farmer leaders warned of escalating the protest to overthrowing the government in the farm laws if not revealed this year. The acts, often called the farm bills, have been described as anti-farmer laws by many farmer unions, and politicians from the opposition also say it would leave farmers at the mercy of the corporates. So in a way, they are launching their protests by the certain manner. So they are telling that what are the all perspectives against which they are unhappy and for which they have launched the present protest. So soon after these acts were introduced, farmer unions began holding local protests mostly in the Punjab, Haryana, and UP. After 2 months of the protests, farmer unions mainly from Punjab and Haryana began a movement named Dilli Chalo, in which thousands of farming union members marched towards the nation capital and been stopped by Delhi police at their borders. On 30th November, an esteemed crowd of 2 lakh and 3 lakh farmers were converging at various border points on a way to Delhi. Transport unions representing over 14 million truck drivers have come out in support of the farmer unions. This fact was very much surprising at that time. So, how these protests, though were going on peacefully, there may be people sitting in the protest having given the speeches out there. There being the people sitting in the protest have been doing bhajans, have been doing sanghas since they most of them belong to the Punjab. And what happened since they declare a tractor rally on 26th of January 2021 to be taken out as a token of this protest, and farmers all along the nation, whosoever were there at the different borders at the different ways, form out the tractor rallies which they were going to proceed towards Delhi. Now, what happened earlier? The negotiations were going on with regard to their protest. Finally, it was agreed upon by Delhi police, and a route was given to them that they will go on that route and thereafter they'll turn back. But as the farmer unions claimed that they have been stopped from going to the route which has been given to them, they has been forcefully stopped. So the situation get aggravated there between the police and the farmers, and they traveled into the city, that is government of national capital of territory of Delhi. They have intervened, and thousands of farmers held a farmer parade with a large convoy of tractors and drove into Delhi. The protesters deviated from the pre-sanctioned route permitted by Delhi police. That's Delhi police claim. The tractor rally turned into a violent protest at certain points as the protesting farmers drove through the barricades and clashed with the police. Later, protesters reached Red Fort and installed farmer union flags and religious flags on the mast of the rampart of the Red Fort. That was too bad to see. The picture right now in your left hand on the screen can clearly depict what was happened on that. How much respect and dignity would be given to any religion's flag? That does not mean that you will pull out the nation's flag and put on the other flags. So that was the misuse of Nishan Sahib and the protest which they have launched against the government of India. So it was not the right manner in which the protest was going. So it cannot be said to be a peaceful protest when it had went to that extent. So thereafter, when seen in the light of constitutional provisions, the nature of rebellion and other actions saw at Red Fort in Delhi were far from peaceful. We have to understand that. Article 51A gives a fundamental duty, states that it is a duty of every Indian citizen to safeguard the public property, preserve the environment as well as composite culture among the other duties. One cannot be sued in the court of law for violation of these ideals. It is a part of code of ethics every Indian is expected to follow. Red Fort is consciential part of Indian history and has served as a focal point of addressing the nation by political leaders across the years. In fact, the Constitution of India has itself stated that a fundamental right is not absolute and subject to certain limitations. If people were given complete freedom without any control, it will negatively affect the society. The rights are therefore subject to reasonable restrictions, and they are Article 19(2) subclause part 3 of the Constitution of India states where Indian state can impose restrictions in the name of maintaining societal stability and national security. The following are those situations where restrictions can be imposed on the people. In the friendly relations we share with a neighboring country are threatened. in case violation of public order and law, in case there is a contempt of court, or if India's sovereignty and integrity is threatened. The ongoing farmers' protests have gained the attention of international media with celebrities in India and abroad talking about the same. The Ministry of External Affairs declared some of these vested interest groups have also tried to mobilize the international support against the India. Mahatma Gandhi's statues have been desecrated across the world as a result of such fringe groups. Thus, any protest which promotes violence and provokes people in the form is illegal and unethical. So, what was happening with regard to the recent times when Supreme Court has again interpreted that what is the right to peaceful protest, and does it allow anyone to block any road or way, public way permanently during their protest? So, Supreme Court of India ruled that dissenting public protests and rallies shall take place only in designated areas. Those shall be provided to you by the government. Anybody, anyone going beyond place and doing it, then would state it to be an unconstitutional peaceful protest. The court allowed an appeal brought by Advocate Amit Sani for the removal of a protest organized at Shaheen Bagh, a Delhi neighborhood, against the Citizenship Amendment Act and the National Register of Citizens. The appellant claimed that the protesters blocked the public road and caused commuters significant inconvenience. Accepting this, the court ruled that despite the existence of the right to peaceful protest against the legislation, public ways and public spaces cannot be preoccupied for indefinite period of time. Supreme Court held that the rights of freedom of expression and protest under Article 19 of the Constitution of India are subject to reasonable restrictions pertaining to the sovereignty and integrity of India, public order, and to the regulation of by the concerned police authorities. Now, what is the conclusion of this entire session which we have done? A peaceful protest can be seen as a fundamental right and lifeline of democracy. And in the lack of it, the democratic system cannot work appropriately as a protest is indicating an independent democratic society where the voice of people is heard. Therefore, the right to peaceful protest is an important element in the democratic country and should be properly utilized when required. And instead of limiting this fundamental right, the government should help the citizens to exercise their fundamental right. Protesting is not only a fundamental right guaranteed under the Constitution of India, but a protesting against injustice is also the moral duty of a citizen of India. The fundamental rights do not exist in isolation, and there should be a mutual balance between the right of protester and that of a commuter. The fact that Constitution safeguards the right to protest in some instances, it is to be considered to be treasured to respect the right to free speech and peaceful protest, and it should be protected by every situation. However, these rights are not absolute in nature and should be subjected to reasonable restrictions as provided in Article 19.2, which is important in the interest of sovereignty and integrity of India. Violent nature of particular individual does not take away the right of the another individual to peacefully assemble in order to exercise the solidarity of the collective. It is the responsibility of the state to rectify the violent individual and help in the execution of other peaceful individuals' right to assemble. So finally, what has happened when the government had to see that in those particular areas, there can be no protest, government imposed Section 144 of CRPC. The imposition of Section 144 shutting down internet or stoppage of railways as a peaceful or precautionary measure to stifle protest is the new normal by the government. Shutdowns in our country's political and press networks and around the republic on a daily basis are incompatible with the new vision of digital India and our founding idea of the constitution. Now, except this PPT, which I have shared with you, not only the protests are being now happening or taking place on the roads, streets, or the Maidans. Now these protests have been further went into the digital platform or the digital era, where by way of a Twitter or by way of any other posts nowadays, there can be seen that the political digital wars are also going on. So people, in order to lodge their protests, are now commenting on the particular policy of a government or a particular law against which they feel dissatisfied. Be that as it may, whosoever may be the government, nobody should curb the voice of the right. These peaceful protests have been given as a matter of right in the Indian Constitution. So, keeping this in view, no government should go into the part of saying anybody whosoever write against any government or be stating against any particular policy, stating it to be the case of sedition. Nowadays, what we have seen that several governments have been lodging, or the police have been lodging the case of sedition against the people who are doing the peaceful protests. So it is basically the to curb the voice, and it clearly is a violation of Article 19 of the Constitution of India. In my view, this right is being given unfetteredly to the people and citizens of India, but with regard to certain restriction, and that too are the reasonable restrictions. With this, I conclude the present session on the peaceful protest and peaceful assembly. I hope that I am able to deliver whatever is required by the viewers. We will come to you with some more useful and insightful and informative sessions on the different points of current affairs as well as law in the near future also. Please subscribe and view our channel.